Have you ever made spag bol, French onion soup, Spanish omelette? Well, you better watch out. The new frontier of identity politics is the kitchen. Super chef Gordon Ramsay is in the soup for launching his new restaurant, Lucky Cat, with the following puff. Authentic Asian eating house and vibrant late-night lounge, inspired by the drinking dens of 1930s Tokyo and the Far East. But when a food blogger went to the launch event, she was disappointed to find she was the only Asian there. She expressed her disappointment in a spicy review for Eater London's website, taking down Ramsay for cultural appropriation. I can see why some might be annoyed at Ramsay's claim that his offering was authentically Asian, but panel, define authentic when it comes to food at your peril. To insist that dishes are only prepared and marketed by the indigenous peoples of its country of origin is the real kitchen nightmare here.
When I hear the words cultural appropriation attached to a story, I usually want to tear my eyeballs out. But anyway, and I feel much the same about this story. Yeah. You know, the thing is, if you live in a multicultural society, which we do, cultural appropriation is inevitable. It's stupid to imagine we can't borrow or admire aspects of people's cultures without insulting them in the process. Gordon Ramsay has earned the right to open whatever kind of restaurant he wants to open and call it whatever he wants to call it, because you know, he's a Michelin-starred chef. He doesn't mangle food together. He produces incredible food. And he's right to hit out at this. You know, I love the fact that we draw inspiration from other people's foods. And I just kind of wonder, you know, what we gain from all this argy-bargy over cultural appropriation. I'm doing well saying it. I thought I'd never get it out.
Argy-bargy, are we allowed to say that?
Does it increase racial justice? No.
No.
Does it increase awareness of racist bigotry? No, it doesn't. All it does is make people angry and it divides.
Shall we see what the East Asian food blogger actually said and what her objections were? I was the only East Asian person in a room full of 30 to 40 journalists and chefs. It was nothing if not a real-life Ramsay kitchen nightmare, which felt more seedy nightclubs than Asian eating house. Or perhaps that is Ramsay's vision of a vibrant, authentic Asian eating house. My question maybe for Karen is, do you think what the problem here is not the fact that you have people of different nationalities cooking food of different nationalities to them, but the use of the words authentic? Right. And it's actually a question of misappropriation of language rather than of food.
So cultural appropriation at the moment, I think, is political correctness gone mad.
Exactly. Good.
Because food is also all about innovation. Yeah. Now, don't we all remember the Asian fusion restaurants?
Yes.
Now, what is fusion? It is not Chinese or Thai, it's Vietnamese, it's mixing, it's being innovative. And what is brilliant about our chefs, we have some of the best chefs in the world in this country, is because they're very innovative. On the other hand, I mean, if I read out what George Chen, the Chinese-American chef and restaurateur, what he said is the famous chef going to curse at his white cooks in Asian or what? Every chef has a right to interpret another cuisine, but the integrity and culture needs to be studied in depth and not whitewashed for marketing purposes. And what's with all the lucky naming deal? It's like Charlie Chan stereotypes all over again. So, you know, the expectation, if it is meant to be authentic, I mean, in my business, we supply 98.5% of the South Asian restaurants, the curry restaurants. 2/3 of them are Bangladeshi owned and run. So do you expect in an Indian restaurant, curry restaurant, South Asian, for the chef to be Bangladeshi, Pakistani, Indian, Sri Lankan, Nepalese? The reality is almost 100% of them are.
Yes. Karen, but hold on. But isn't the truth that, you know, you go to an Indian restaurant in this country, run by Indian people, chefs, whatever, the food will taste entirely different from the food you get in an Indian restaurant in India because they're different, because they're mixing. Let's just hear what Gordon Ramsay's got to say on this. He says, Gordon Ramsay's restaurants do not discriminate based on gender, race or beliefs, and we don't expect anyone else to. I may not agree with all reviews, but if someone is going to be critical, then I expect them to be professional and have some integrity.
I think what we mustn't forget is that food is actually the ultimate unifier. It's a really great way of connecting with people from different cultures, and it's a great way of actually introducing somebody to someone else's culture.
Yes,
so for me, I have no problem with somebody of a different ethnicity or opening a restaurant with a culture they have nothing to do with. But what I would say, and back to the blogger's point, it is interesting. We have got to the place where we no longer credit the source of this stuff anymore. So it wouldn't have even occurred to Gordon Ramsay that perhaps if you're going to have an authentic Asian restaurant, maybe have a few employees who actually are authentically Asian. It wouldn't have even occurred to him. And I do think
he probably didn't write the word authentic.
I haven't actually joined in yet, so I'll just make it no. But yeah, I mean, I would never, ever do anything in any way that was culturally inappropriate. But when I hear a conversation such as this, my concern, Karen, is there are genuine issues concerning cultural misappropriation.
Yeah.
And things like this over a curry restaurant or over an Asian, that just takes away the validity of any real arguments.
And let's, again, we used to be the laughing stock of the world when it came to food.
Yeah.
If you do remember the times when you went to an Indian restaurant, what was your curry? A korma was a mild, a madras was a medium, a vindaloo was hot. Look how far we've come now.
Yes.
You know, we are now respected around the world for the wonderful cuisine that we produce, and we should be proud of that.
Because of the mix of all those ethnicities.
Absolutely.
Just to add, though, I do think the thing that I found weird about the restaurant wasn't even so much the menu, was the name. I think Lucky Cat is just... It's just going into dodgy territory. And again, I do believe
Sorry,
that...
pardon my ignorance, I genuinely don't know.
Is it something talismanic about that?
Well, no, in terms of sort of some of the stereotypes.
Well, you've been to Sexy Fish. I don't know what Lucky Cat means. I don't know what Lucky Cat means to me.
No, but some of the stereotypes around certain pets in Asian culture, there have been stereotypes, and I would have stayed away from that.
Moving away from restaurants, do we think that, I think it's right, having brought in this topic, that, you know, Parmesan should be protected, and Cornish pasties and cheddar cheese and prosciutto and Parma ham and all those things, where they are come from a specific region. They should... That, I think, is important to a local industry, to a local culture, and I agree that that should remain sacrosanct.
Yes.
But I'm not remotely bothered by M&S producing a biryani wrap.
Please?
You are.
I am, because this is Asma Khan, the founder of Darjeeling Express, and here's what she had to say when M&S brought out that wrap. She said, "This is so wrong in so many ways, at so many levels. Who are you paying to design your wraps, M&S? You seriously need to rethink your exotic wrap selection. This is not biryani. You do not appropriate names from a cuisine without even bothering to do any research on that dish." She does have a point.
Let's be also, she is a brilliant chef. Her restaurant, Darjeeling Express, is brilliant. And their signature dish, by the way, is biryani.
And it's the best
he's got a free meal there. It's the reality of bringing it back then. We can only make spaghetti bolognese in Bologna. You won't be able to make your bolognese anymore if we take that argument.
Interesting you should say it's spaghetti bolognese, because Carlo Zilli, an Italian chef... Aldo, sorry, thank you.
That's right.
I stand corrected, says that this is an invented dish, which never came from Bologna. And in fact, in Bologna, they never put cream in it or something like that.
The same as carbonara not having cream in it. But anyway, and I love cooking carbonara, by the way.
I'll come round your house. Can I bring a decent beer?
You don't need to, it'll already be there.